This is Tom Fox. I'd like to welcome you to the newest addition to the Compliance Podcast Network, the Compliance Tip of the Day. This is the podcast where we bring you daily insights and practical advice on navigating the ever-evolving landscape of compliance requirements. Whether you're a seasoned compliance professional or just starting your journey, my aim in this podcast is to provide you with a bite-sized, actionable tip to help you stay on top of your compliance game. Join us as we explore the latest trends from the Department of Justice, share some best practices, demystify complex compliance issues to help keep your organization doing business ethically and in compliance, and at the end of the day, more profitably. Tune in daily for your dose of compliance wisdom. Let's make compliance a little less daunting, one tip at a time. Now a word from the sponsor of the Compliance Podcast Network, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
Also, if you are looking for something new and different for the upcoming Compliance Week celebration in November, check out The Compliance Kids. It's my 3-book children's series on compliance and compliance professionals for children. But they make great gifts and great training tools for your employees. You can check it out on Amazon.com. We've linked to it in the show notes. On today's Compliance Tip of the Day, we take up the often asked question of what should be your compliance training frequency? How does the amount of training positively or negatively impact your overall training strategy? These questions have not been covered by the government in either the ECCP or the FCPA resource guide, but it's still an important question. Do you need to refresh your training? Do you need to have new employees simply taking training? Do you have a base training and then a more focused training for gatekeepers? While new employees should be required to take more detailed courses during their first year so they're exposed to key risks, after that, fuller length courses can be staggered over a 3-year interval so that you keep the courses updated and avoid overtraining. In the interim, you can move to a less frequent repetition of lengthy training courses and more frequent refreshers, reminders with training modules that keep risks top of mind without assuming the lengthy course need to be repeated every year. This fits into the ECCP prescription that companies should invest in shorter, more targeted training sessions. It can be seen as a common sense approach and, more importantly, something that the regulators will see as evidence of an effective compliance program. So what should you talk about in your regular training? The lengthy training, well, obviously the importance of your code of conduct, the importance of speak up when something is observed, the importance of your non-retaliation policy, the importance of workplace safety, and, of course, conflicts of interest. You may also want to put in things like antitrust and anti-competitive behavior, which you remind your employees. But if they're a gatekeeper in those areas, then you would give more targeted, focused training, and that can be shorter than your overall lengthier training. So training or compliance training frequency is something that you need to think about and plan out going forward. As I said in the opening of this podcast, this month's sponsor of the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico, and they've developed a toolkit for middle managers that will help middle managers in intaking information from employees and, equally importantly, understanding how to respond and how to get the information up to compliance for the decision makers. We've linked to this toolkit in our show notes, so check it out at ethico.com. This is Tom Fox again. This new podcast, Compliance Tip of the Day, will appear daily, and frankly, it's one of the most requested topics for a podcast that I get on a regular basis. It's going to be short and sweet with one tip with some takeaways that you can utilize to implement into your compliance program. If you've got a question that you would like a tip on, please submit them through our website, and we will use them in an upcoming episode. The compliance tip of the day is a production of the award-winning Compliance Podcast Network.